Hello, my beautiful souls, and welcome to the Oracle of the Light channel. And welcome, everybody. It's so lovely for you to join me. Lovely to see you. I hope you're all having a lovely evening so far, wherever you've joined me from around the world. Hope you had a lovely day. As usual, I also have to say with all readings for entertainment purposes only. But yeah, we've got a real interesting show for today. We're going to be looking at the impact of the protests and how that might have affected Felon 45. We're actually going to be looking at this question. Let me just put the question up first so we can see. The question is this. We're going to look at how have the protests impacted Felon 45? How does he really feel about them? And we're going to ask the cards. But before we do, it's really important. Do give us a thumbs up if you enjoy the videos. And if you do enjoy the channel, do subscribe. It's free to subscribe. And we really do appreciate it so much. It really does mean a lot. So yes, we would really appreciate that. So yeah, it was lovely to see you all joining me this evening. We're looking at my name is SP Psychic Media. Lovely to see you all. And as I say, I hope you're having a good evening. So we're going to go with the show this evening. Looking at this question here, because obviously the protests have been huge. It's like, I don't think there's ever been such a huge protest in the history of America. And across the world, actually, they've been happening all over. It's been in more places than simply America. They've been happening across Europe and everything. And yeah, people's voices are being heard, but the beauty of asking the cards is it can give us an insight into things. And so we are going to be just looking at how these protests have impacted Felon 45. I don't call him by name. I try not to call him by name. I don't give him the energy. So we refer to him as Felon 45. Okay. Because he is a felon. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I like to use the Cosmic Tarot, and I also I've got another deck of Oracle cards that I need. I'm going to magically do this and magically the cards will appear thanks to the help of my beautiful husband, Francesco. I use these like the Oracle of the Light, which is also the name of the channel. And these were designed by us both, these Oracle cards. So I'm also going to be drawing some of them as well. But yeah, we're going to be. Yeah, Francesco is the artist, but I should say, yeah, Francesco is this very talented artist doing all of the pictures for the 45 Oracle cards. Yeah. Okay, so on to this evening's question then. As I say, I've started this channel because I think it's a slightly different way of working with tarot cards as opposed to just giving one-to-one readings to gain some insight, if you like, into the things that are going on around us, And so that's what I see this channel as. It's a great opportunity to gain some insight to the different things. Obviously understanding they are the readings. And so we're going to look at how the protests have impacted Felon 45, because Felon 45, he likes to have a persona, but behind the scenes, he can be very affected. As we know, we've heard in the past, walls can be covered in ketchup, I believe. So he likes to keep things hidden, and I think he likes to keep in his bubble a lot. So it's interesting to see whether with such a huge voice that people have had, whether that started to affect him in any way, whether it started to get to him, if you know what I mean, the cracks have started to appear, if you like. So I'm going to draw some cards out. I'm just seeing how I'm going to be drawing the cards out. Okay, so I'm going to draw 8 cards out, but they're going to be in 2 sections of 4. And the first section is going to be how the impact that's been felt by Felon 45. And then the other 4 is going to be how he kind of feels about all of the poets. So it's like both those sides of the question answered, if you know what I mean. So 4 cards on one side and 4 cards on the other. What I'll do, I'll just take the question off so you can see. I'll put the screen down. So I'll draw out the cards here. I'm just shuffling the pack just to see what cards we get. So I'll draw the cards now. Just cut the pack as well. Okay, so I'm going to draw the cards out. We'll do that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. Wow, this is interesting. That one, and that one. Wow, interesting stuff. Okay, so we're going to start over with these 4 cards, and I'm just going to move it up again. Okay, so we're going to start with those first 4 cards being the impact of them, and then the second 4 cards, these cards over here, are going to be how he really feels about them, if you know what I mean. So some initial impact on the first 4, and then how he feels on the second 4. Okay, so we're going to start off with wow. So how have the protest impacted Felon 45? Well, this is the first card we've got out. I'm going to just take the question down a moment. So this is the first card we've got here. This is all about hearing. You see, he's almost got his hand on over his ears, as if he's not wanting to hear what people are saying. So some of that impact has definitely had an impact on him. Is that he's really, I think the message is getting through that people do not like what he's doing. He knows that he's doing things that people aren't liking. He knows that he's hurting people, but he's covering his ears. There's almost like that, just denial, and just not, he's just not going to recognize it, you know. Also, as well, it is important, this sense of his cracks are starting to appear in his kingdom, you could almost call it, because you can see that building's falling down there. And so that building falling down there, I think, is really referencing that he's maybe not as strong as he thought he was. You know, I think that he was expecting to come in and just steamroller everything, and no one would say anything, and he would just completely turn the country upside down, and no one would say a thing. And it's not quite turning out like that. Instead, there's lots of sharp daggers being thrown at him. It's a lot rougher than he was expecting. You can see the ground there looking very rough and hard. Also, snakes in the grass. And I feel this is people that he wouldn't have expected to turn on him are also turning on him as well. Also getting hurt in the crossfire. You see that snake's getting also hurt by a sword. So I think this is definitely about, well, I think he's definitely bringing, whenever you get involved with Trump, I think we've seen it a lot over the years, how anyone that tends to get involved in Trump at some point ends up also being brought down by him. And I think that's what this snake represents. There's that sense of the snakes in the grass, but those snakes are going to be brought down too. He's going to bring more people than just himself down. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to come off very, in not good ways because of being involved with him, And also I need to reference that red sky. That red sky is really in the sense of like everywhere he's looking, he's seeing this like disapproval, negativity. There's nowhere he can hide aside from Mar-a-Lago, probably at the moment, without seeing some reference to it. And I think, I'm sure it's getting through there as well, Mar-a-Lago. I do get that sense of, the reason why I'm saying I think it's getting through to Mar-a-Lago is that you can see this building collapsing. I think if that building wasn't collapsing, then I would be more inclined to say that it's not getting through to Mar-a-Lago. It's like a safe space, but I actually do think it's getting through. I think, yeah, it's getting through. I do feel it's really impacting him far deeper than he might have imagined, I think. The next card, the Tower, upside down. I mean, the Tower's not a great card to get anyway, in the sense of it's definitely things falling apart. But I think this is falling apart and turned upside down, literally. I think that things are definitely being turned upside down for him. I think that it's impacted him in ways he can't have imagined. I think as well with this card, it's really interesting. You got the crown being thrown off there, thrown off his head almost, and I feel that is very much a sense of that is what's happening at the moment. He's no longer the king of this king of the kingdom, if you like. His kingdom is falling apart, and his world is being turned upside down. I honestly do think that's the reason why this is mainly upside down, I could also see it as well about the sense of him. I don't think we need to be very careful with Felon 45. And he talks about building this other place in another country. I think he's serious. It feels like he's serious about that. So we need to be very careful about the words that he's speaking, to almost like take them seriously. If you think it's bonkers and really not a feasible idea, then he's probably actually thinking of doing it, And I think that's in regards to wanting to build in that other country and move people out. I think that's in relation to that. It feels like, and I feel that is that. But I think he wants to almost take the crown off other people as well in other places. He wants to steal other crowns in other places too. And I think that's what that crown also represents. So this is really interesting too, because we've also had this card for Felon 45 in another reading, interestingly. And I think the reason why this represents Felon 45 is because it's very bling, it's very bling. Only today I've seen some meme or some picture of him apparently digging a hole where there was this really important old flower was growing at the White House, and they chopped it down, a magnolia tree, and apparently they chopped it down, and he's digging a hole with a gold spade. I mean, how ridiculous, it's like, it's just so, number one, it's so disrespectful, and number two, it's just stupid and crazy. A gold spade is just so disrespectful, and so in this time when he's wiping away people's futures and everything like this, so the fact that this is upside down, it feels like, again, I need to say his world's being turned upside down at the moment, but also now when this card is the right way up, this is a person that's very solid and very creative and everything like that. But I need to say when it's the wrong way up, it feels like there's a whole lack of creativity. There's a lack of solidity there. There's nowhere firm to grip on anywhere, because everywhere you try and grip onto is actually almost like a lie and made up. There's nothing actually to grasp onto, there's nothing directly you can grasp onto in his universe, if you like, So I feel there's definitely a sense of things being turned upside down, a lack of imagination, a lack of creativity. It's just all about me.
Also, the emperor upside down looks like a tree.
Looks like a tree. Yeah, it does look like a tree, actually. Yeah.
The neck is the crown.
Yeah, you can see that. Yeah.
And that decorative top is like leaves.
Yeah, it does look like a tree. Yeah, but I mean,
it does to me.
But in terms of what that means, though, in terms of Trump,
talking about the magnolia tree there.
Yeah, that's true. We were just talking about the magnolia tree. That's right. Yeah, it's true. Yeah. We were just talking about the magnolia tree. Just thinking to that, I think. Yeah. So that is that card. And the next card about how the protests impacted the felon is the devil. So a very telling card, and I think that the devil really represents the attachment to those, to money, to greed, to selfishness and everything like that. All the bad stuff, basically, yeah. And I feel that in terms of how it's impacted Felon 45, it feels like this is how Trump likes to portray himself, you know, but this is actually who he is, and people are starting to see who he really is. And more than that, not just a few people, but a lot of people, vast numbers of people are starting to see who he really is, you know, that he is basically this person that lives this life of greed and like obscene expectations and ridiculous expectations and no values, living with no values or heart, compassion or empathy. I feel that that's what this is all about, you know. And I think that now almost like the cover's coming off, you know. I think lots of people have seen Trump before he got into the presidency, but now there's a whole other number of people now, and I feel like it feels like it's cross-party. This, even like people are starting to see, even from his own party, that that he was a bad choice and everything like this. MAGA are starting to turn about, you know, and really see who they voted for, you know. And so, yeah, I feel that that's what this is, you know. His mask is off, you know, for more to see, more than ever. And I think he knows that. And I think that's one reason why they're being just so callous and in your face as well. I think there's no holds barred now. There can't be much more they can do that can insult people. And so I think that it's like, it's the mask's off, you know, the mask's off. So, but I think he knows that as well. I think that, I think he's more aware of that too, which is one of the reasons why I think he keeps hiding and disappearing and things like this. Okay. So we're going to move on to the next card now. So looking at our question, this is the other half of the question. So the first bit we've just done is how have the protests impacted Felon 45? And this next bit is quite interesting. How does he really feel about them? Okay. So how does he really feel about them? So this first card is the Ten of Pentacles. I think there's still this sense of invincibility that he's got. I think it's what this card represents, that invincibility. I also think that he's still got many schemes of making money around him. So that's represented by the Circle of Pentacles there. Pentacles do represent money and wealth and stuff. And I feel that he's got many schemes running that are earning him money. Some people know about, some are legal and some are not legal, I feel, you know. Some need lots of investigating. I suspect many need a lot of investigating, but there's definitely, he feels like he's got lots of avenues of income that he's going to juice for all that he possibly can. And he's only going to think about himself. He's got his hand on his own heart there, you see. Do you see he's got his hand almost like on his heart there? He's only thinking about him, this man. He's only thinking about his own self, not thinking about anybody else, you know. Yeah, so I think that's what that represents. But interestingly, the next card, how does he really feel about these protests and everything? This to me is a sense of, now this is very much a building card, like a building a kingdom. It's also Pentacles that represents wealth, but this to me is upside down. So this to me is desperate, that what's also happening is a sense of, like, on the horizon is a dismantling of that wealth. You can almost see on the horizon, like, if he's not careful, there's going to be a dismantling of his wealth. And so this is probably going to bring about a bit of fear to him, a bit of not worry, but a bit of, like, there's definitely that sense of, like, like the first card with the kingdom falling down a bit. I think this represents that again a little bit. It's his kingdom falling down, his kingdom not being so strong. The connection to money and everything becoming not quite as strong, you know. Yeah. And 3 is significant as well. The 3 is significant there. I think that might be connecting to him, JD, and the yeah, Elon as well. Those, I think that 3 is connecting to them, you know, but they're all in that area that it's falling down, you know. So yeah, this is an interesting card. So how does he feel about all of the protests and everything like this? The Queen of Wands, I think this actually represents a female that he's afraid of. I feel this is representative of someone that he's almost afraid of, that he can't get out of his head. This could be Kamala. This could be someone that's, you know, he does have people that get through his cracks to him, and even with the slightest of comment, they'll wind him up like a little coiled spring. And this is one of those people. I think he's got someone in his mind at the moment that he can't get out of his mind, because he's almost like they just really get into him. And actually, this is them taking the power away from him. Yeah, Kamala wiped the floor in the debates. Yeah, it could also be. Would it be Nancy Pelosi possibly as well?
He doesn't like powerful women.
Yeah, this is. It's hard for me to say exactly who this is, and I'd be wrong to say because I'm not feeling exactly who this is at the moment. But I can say there is definitely a powerful woman that is getting through those cracks. Now it might come out in a little while who this person is. There's so much stuff going on at the moment. It's actually quite impossible to keep up with everything. But I think that's purposeful as well. So we can manage this. We can keep up with everything. And also, there is someone most definitely getting through. And I do think it's a female. So really quite interesting. We keep an eye out for that. This female is elegant, well-spoken, good values, knows where they're at, strong, you know, very strong. Michelle Obama would be a good example of this person that I'm describing, you know, someone like that. It might not be her, it might be somebody else, but there's somebody definitely getting through the cracks that he can't get out of his mind, because they've come the right way up in this reading. They're really, you know, it's really strong. And then how does he really feel about these protests? He's feeling a big lack of love from everywhere that he turns. We've also had this card that were this way up for him previously as well, interestingly. Now, the Ace of Cups is normally an absolutely beautiful card. It is a card all about love, shining your light. And what this is about the other way up is quite the opposite, really. You see those drips turn to spikes, almost like swords, and it becomes the opposite, almost going into the dark. So in the sense of, rather than him shining his light's been dimmed. So I do feel from the protests, his light has definitely been dimmed. He's not feeling the love. But in all honesty, there isn't that much love for him. I don't mean that nastily. There really isn't that much love for old Donny or Felon 45. There is not much love in the house, and rightly so. I mean, he's steamrolled over people's lives and with not a care in the world, and seems to continue to do so, you know. So let's look at karma, cause and effect. What things has he caused? What actions has he done that are likely to cause the effects? And karma doesn't judge, remember. Karma is simply a rule of energy where when you do an action, it causes an effect, you know. So yeah, the Ace of Cups upside down is not feeling the love. Okay, really interesting. So, I mean, looking back at the question, oh yeah, he's not feeling the love right now. Yeah, definitely. So just looking back over the question and in summary, if you like, how have the protests impacted Felon 45? Well, it feels like his cover's broken, you know. It's definitely like his cover is broken. People have almost seen him without the mask now. Vulnerability people are seeing him for who he is. His kingdom's starting to collapse. This is the big thing from the first part of the reading. The second part of the reading, how does he feel about it? He's not feeling the love, you know, but he's still not giving up on trying to bring money in. Remember, from that first card, the 10 of Pentacles, he's still not giving up, and I don't think he ever will. But most definitely, it looks like they did have an effect, and they did penetrate it, get through the cracks, you know, to him and impact him, you know. So and I'm really intrigued with who this woman is that's really getting to him. Remember, that might come out in the next week or so, who knows? So do keep an eye out. But listen, everybody, if you've enjoyed this video, by all means give it a thumb up, and also don't forget, if you do enjoy the channel, to subscribe. Don't forget, it's free to subscribe, and we really do appreciate it so much. So listen, everybody, do keep an eye out for future videos. I've got lots to post on. There's no shortage of things to post on. But do take care. Stay safe, everybody. And with lots of love and light from the Oracle of the Light, I will see you all really soon. Thank you.